Hey, what's going on, guys? It's HawksNest here, back with another Call of Duty Mobile video. Now, as you guys saw from the title, this video is going to be talking about the stats inside of Call of Duty Mobile. And I'm sure most of the people that have been following my channel for a while already know this, but essentially the stats inside of COD Mobile are not entirely accurate. Now, this season they've actually refined it, so it is a lot better than it was before. But for example, when like this shotgun says it does 115 damage, that doesn't necessarily mean that the gun will deal 115 damage. And when it says the range is like 48, that doesn't really mean anything. Like, obviously it means the range is like roughly half of what it could be, kind of, but again, that doesn't really actually mean anything. So one thing that I started doing when the game first came out is I was actually measuring all of the stats inside of COD Mobile. So that includes how much HP you'll actually deal when you shoot someone at a certain range. For the fire rate, essentially how fast a gun actually shoots in rounds per minute, so we actually have a physical measurement of how fast the gun shoots. Mobility is like how fast the gun scopes in milliseconds, how fast your running is in meters per second, like actual numbers that you can visualize and see and compare side by side with other weapons. Now, before Season 9, this was really easy to basically compile into one way of viewing everything, because what I did is I essentially made a website and compiled all of the stats so you could compare them very easily. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen my site. It is HawksNest.gg, and then there is the COD Mobile Gun section to actually compare the weapons. But obviously with Season 9, there has been a crazy amount of attachments that have actually been added inside the game, which completely changes how guns work and what their stats look like. And with all of the attachments and the way that Gunsmith actually works right now, it's really hard to actually see what the stats are. So essentially what I'll be doing is adding a Gunsmith simulator to my website, where you can actually build out a gun and add all of the attachments that you would inside of the normal Gunsmith. But meanwhile, on the side, you'll actually be able to see all of the stats updating real time. So you'll be able to see what the damage looks like across different ranges. You'll be able to see the updated ADS speed. The only thing that I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to display is going to be the accuracy, the hipfire accuracy, and the controls. So we'll try to figure that out. Hopefully we can do like a visual graphic or something like that, but it will be extremely hard because there's so many recoil attachments, and it's not really a number. It's more like a thing that you actually see, because recoil is not a number. It's basically a visual thing, I guess. So because of this, the testing process for Gunsmith will essentially take me probably like 10 times as long as it did before. So obviously it's going to be really hard for me to justify testing all of these weapon stats and just doing everything and working on the website, when there could be much better uses of my time in relation to YouTube. Like, I could be streaming, making other videos, grinding camos, stuff like that. I want to be doing, and I want to do it a lot. But I also do want to be testing weapon stats, but once again, it just doesn't make sense to do that if I'm basically getting nothing in return other than making some videos here and there covering the stats. So because of this, I created a Patreon page so you guys could join on as a member and basically get access to a ton of different cool perks while also supporting me. And another thing with this is that with my website, I actually provide it for free with no ads on it, so that the interface and the way that it looks is just really clean and really non-intrusive and very easy to use. So basically by supporting me, you're also supporting keeping the site ad-free. So basically now I just want to show you guys how you can support me and how I can basically return the favor for you guys in relation to COD Mobile and all of the gun stats and just different things that I will be testing. So as you can see, we are on Patreon right here, patreon.com/HawksNest, and as you can see, the very first basically tier is going to be the HawksNest.gg supporter for $5 a month. And basically what I wrote for this is that you'll be able to see tons of updates and news related to HawksNest.gg and all of these stats being recorded, along with getting access to an exclusive Discord for all supporters. Essentially this is just a Discord where basically anyone that becomes a patron can join. So essentially it'll be exclusive to the biggest supporters of me and HawksNest.gg, and obviously a ton of people that just want to discuss stats, weapon builds, chat with me, and a ton of other stuff as well. And as you can see, there's more details here. So exclusive Discord channel access, patron only posts and messages. So whenever I post on Patreon, you'll be able to see it. Also, at the end of every single video that has any kinds of stats on it, I will be shouting out all of the users that become a patron. So if you do want to have your name at the end of videos, you can sign on as a member for the $5 tier. And also, if I ever make polls essentially asking people what weapon I should test next or anything like that, you will be able to vote on that. Next up is the $10 tier. Essentially, you get all of the exact same things, but you'll also be able to get access to my spreadsheet. Essentially, I have a spreadsheet that has all of the weapon stats that I have tested. So by becoming a $10 member, essentially what you get is access to that spreadsheet, so you can literally see all of the stats that I've tested and all of the stuff that I am currently testing. So this one is really, really cool, because then obviously you can see all kinds of really sick stuff. Next up is the VIP supporter. This is the $25 tier a month. Basically what you do is you get login credentials to HawksNest.gg to see all of the features as they're being worked on. So essentially when you sign up as this, I will give you a login, and then you'll be able to actually go into HawksNest.gg while I'm working on the Gunsmith feature that I'm going to be putting inside of it. and you'll be able to see all of the progress on that as we do actually work on it, which is going to be really cool. And then obviously you get access to all of the other stuff mentioned before, including the spreadsheet. Next up is a bigger tier. We're going to be at the $50 tier, which is a legendary supporter. Basically, you get all of the same things, but if you do have any stats that you want me to test with this tier, basically you'll get to like have voting priority on any guns that I do test. So basically all you have to do is just message me and ask me to test something, and more than likely, if I do have the time, I will test it for you and let you know what it is. Obviously I can't do that like if you ask for like 50 different stats, I won't be able to do that, but if I am ever testing stuff and just kind of on, and you do want me to actually test something, you will be the very first person to have pick, essentially. Next up is we're going to be getting a lot bigger, and this is going to be the $100 tier. Essentially what you get is the exact same things as before, but you have instant test requests. So basically if you want me to test something, just ask it and I will do it as soon as I possibly can. And I limited this to 7 stats a week just to, keep it kind of reasonable, but if you do a little bit more than that, that's totally fine. I just wanted to set a number just so it kind of makes sense. So if you ever have any questions about certain guns and what attachments do or anything like that and you can't see it, just ask me and I'll go ahead and test it for you, basically just like that. Then the $1,000 tier month. I don't expect anyone to do this, but I just threw it on just because why not? And essentially this one is I'll just literally give you my phone number at that point. And if you ever have any questions, anything, just go ahead and text me or call me and I'll try to pick up. Obviously, like I can't guarantee I'll be able to pick up, but probably just do something like that. Obviously, if like 5 people do this and are planning on leaking my number, I don't know, I'll probably get a second phone, to be honest, for this one if someone does sign up. That way I just don't accidentally like leak my main number or something like that. But yeah, so that will be the final tier. So as you can see, you can get access to a ton of different stuff, and obviously if you're doing this and supporting me on any of these tiers, you are massively supporting both me and me building out the website, including the Gunsmith feature that I did mention before. So I hope you guys are looking forward to the different modifications coming up to HawksNest.gg, as long as a ton of different videos in the future. And if you do join as a patron on Patreon, a massive thank you to you as well. And in fact, at the time of recording this, we do currently have 3 patrons, so I want to go ahead and thank them really quickly for being the very first 3. Okay, so our current 3 patrons are going to be Dean, Paddle Legend, and Bast, all of which are going to be the Elite Supporter tier, which is basically the $10 one. So once again, a massive thank you to Bast, Dean, and Paddle Legend for being the very first 3 patrons. Once again, if you guys want to be able to actually join, patreon.com/HawksNest, or the link will be down below. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, massive thank you to you for that. And I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Peace.